Nope.
So
you know some of the other ones? You don't ask me another question, right?
welcome to episode 5 of the Hot Dems Hot Wings interview with Monroe Nichols, current state representative.
Yeah. I'm excited about this. Sort of.
Sort of,
Kind of. Not really. It'll be fine.
The first one is the Ignite Chipotle.
That's a nice name. Are you ready to go right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Oh, easy money. Easy money.
So
thought this was hot Dems. This is mild Dems. You know what I mean? Moderate Dems. There we go.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for Tulsa mayor.
Let's see. So you mentioned I've been in the legislature for 8 years now. Been a great time of change in the state. Really proud to represent Democrats as member of the House Democratic Caucus. And I think a lot of times we think that, there's not a whole bunch of Democrats up there. We can't get anything done. And we've gotten a lot of stuff done as Democrats, which has been really cool. And I think the other lesson I've learned is from that stuff to the stuff that people have done in the polls, the past Medicaid expansion, everything else, I am convinced that we can come together to some phenomenal things. And so if you take those things we've done in the state, you think about the challenges we have at home, homelessness, education, economic development, public safety. I'm running for mayor. I think we can do that stuff in Tulsa. Right? I think we can end homelessness by 2030. I think we can improve student outcomes. I think we can expand our economy. And I certainly think we can be the safest big city in the country. So I'm running for mayor to make those things true in partnership with everybody, because the power of all of us together, I think it's something that we can get done. So I'm excited.
Definitely, and thank you for all the hard work in the legislature.
Yeah, you know what? That's why I was like, chicken wings? I can eat those. I've been in the legislature for 8 years. How hard can this be? We're about to find out.
Right. Coming in with big words.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I'm a Cowboys. So today the Cowboys are playing their first preseason game.
Okay.
It's on right now.
Okay.
And so, this happens to be usually closer to playoff season. I figure I should start the season with them playing a game and me having a meltdown. But I figured I'd do it here, eating chicken wings, instead of actually watching the game.
Right.
But I'm representing. So we talk about Super Bowl. We're big talkers as Cowboys.
Don't I know it?
Are you a Cowboys fan?
No, my dad is.
You're not a Cowboys fan?
I am not.
Whoa.
Colts. So we moved back to the States from Guam in 2005.
Colts.
Which was the same year that
It's not real
the
nice.
Colts.
It's not even a grown horse. It's like a baby horse. What is that? The Broncos.
Oh,
That's
right.
a real horse. The Colts.
It's the baby horse.
I mean, my goodness.
But hey, we have won a Super Bowl this century.
Well, did they win one in the 2000s?
Yeah.
Oh, they did. Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, we're America's team, so there you go.
Okay.
I mean, that hurt. You didn't have to say that. You didn't have to say that.
So number 2 is the mango habanero.
Mango. Mangoes aren't hot. I've had mangoes.
Right.
They're not hot. A hot mango. Who's ever heard of those?
But habanero, I mean.
Here we go. I mean, look, that one sits on my tongue a little bit. You know what I mean? That one's kind of hanging.
Oh.
On the tip a little bit. But it's fine though.
How will you engage with the youth of Tulsa and ensure their voices are heard in your administration?
Yeah, I think there's 2 things. So, part of the education plan we put out there is the creation of the Office of Children, Youth, and Families. And one of the things that I'm going to work with the City Council on is to bring to Tulsa what are called youth impact assessments. And so we're getting ready to take a policy move that may be about parks funding or any host of things. We're constantly thinking about how does this impact young people by going and asking them through the structured assessment process, stuff that I've done in my career over the years in other places. And so it's a great way to get youth voice into the policy making space, and so that they're helping drive what we do at the city. The other thing is producing kind of a children's budget every year. So we see how we're spending money on behalf of kids and making sure, I think the critical thing you want to do is that you hear from all kinds of kids, not just the kids that are the students on National Honor Society and all that kind of stuff, but really the young people who are most impacted by things that we do in negative ways. Those young people who sometimes are left behind by the system a little bit, like how do we engage those young people in response to their needs? And so the goal is not just to listen to kids for one thing that you do at one point in time, but how are we building in good systems that we say, hey, every time we're making a move that we know it's going to impact young people, let those young people give some feedback about how they are impacted, and let that help drive our decision making. At the Capitol, I've been on the Appropriations and Budget Committee for 6 of my 8 years, I think. And we do, every time there's a bill that costs us money, we have to do a fiscal impact assessment on it. So we know how much it's going to cost the state this year or future budget years. I'm going to do the same thing, understanding how these things are going to impact kids when making decisions.
Sorry,
it's hot. I know it's hot.
My lips are tingling right now.
Yeah, the lips. So what happened to me? I kind of thought I got past the lips. It was on the tongue, and then I just licked my lips.
Yeah.
And so now it's on the lips. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if the water was a good idea right now.
I don't know if it was either.
I think the water may have spread it all around your mouth. That's at least my thought. All right, what's the next one? Let's do it.
So the next one is the fiery cayenne.
Okay, now that one sounds a little hotter than mango.
It does.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for it?
I am.
You sure?
Yeah, I am.
We don't know if that milk's going to work over there. Here we go. Right now, that was not as bad as that one.
No.
But I'm sitting here waiting for it to hit me later.
But that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
like it's gonna hit.
That was not bad. I mean, it's not something I would just order to put on something. But that was not bad though. I think the other one was so hot that this one is like, oh, your taste buds are already on fire, so this was gonna go right now. Right.
So on your website,
yeah,
you talk about starting a Teach in Tulsa fund to attract and retain qualified educators.
Yep.
One is this plan remodeled after the remote Tulsa program, and two, how would this be funded?
Yeah, so it's actually not modeled after Tulsa Remote. It's actually modeled after what's called the Teachers Incentive Allotment in Texas.
Okay.
And so what they do in Texas is work that I did outside of the legislature. My job was tied together, working with a bunch of partners in Texas, what they did years ago is they restructured their school funding formula all across the state. And so districts were essentially put in 4 categories. And like a tier 1 school was a school in the community like where the students came from, like a large number came from economic disadvantage, those types of things. And so if you were a teacher in that school and you were getting growth out of students, you got incentivized for that. So like you could make like $32,000 higher than another teacher if you were, highly impactful in those schools, in those classrooms where we needed teachers the most. Because what we know about those classrooms are you have high teacher turnover oftentimes, and it impacts kids' literacy rates, everything from literacy rates all the way up to graduation rates. And so Teach in Tulsa is actually designed after that to say, hey, if we got a teacher that's really punching above their weight, which we have a lot of those, and they're getting growth out of students, so like they're taking a student who's in 5th grade but on 2nd grade reading level and helping them grow to catch up, then we're going to invest that and say, hey, we want to incentivize you for the work you're doing with these students. So we know the impact that it has over the long haul. What we're starting to see in Texas as a test case is that literacy rates are starting to go up in certain places. Graduation rates are starting to go up. In a lot of places, what's happening is teachers aren't having to leave the profession. They're not having to go be an assistant principal. They can be in the classroom. They continue that, and so we're keeping them there. I think I do the same thing here, right? And so the goal when we get started is to fund Teach in Tulsa both from public and private sources, and then hopefully get us to a point where we can fund it, as a city without the need of private resources through whether it's the next vision package or something else. But I think citizens in Tulsa would be really excited to say, yeah, we're going to invest in teachers and we're going to get better outcomes for kids. And that's what Teaching Tulsa is all about.
All right, so moving to number 4, the fourth sauce. I didn't have. I tried to take. I did try to take this one out.
You tried to take it out?
Yes.
Is it the one that people struggle with a lot?
He struggled.
I struggled with it.
You were struggling with number 2.
The last two I struggled with the most.
In the order that they're in, like this one is really okay.
Yeah. So number 4 is the Reaper.
The what?
The Reaper.
Ah, yes, that sounds like something that's not good. Like Reaper is like, if we're on Family Feud, it would be like blank Reaper. Grim Reaper. That's the guy who comes when you die. So
right.
This has got to be bad, I would imagine.
It has to be.
There's no good Reaper.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. You guys can fact check me on that one. Reaper comes across as a nice guy. Mm-hmm. And then you go to shake his hand.
Uh-huh.
And you realize he's not very nice.
No.
Because what just happened there is I bit it. I was like, not that bad, so I tried to swallow. And so now, like, the back of my tongue is hot from number 4. And the front of my tongue is still a little hot from number 2.
Oh, still number 2.
Yeah. Number 3 was not bad, but number 2 kind of front of the mouth right now. Number 4 kind of back of the mouth right now. But I'm hanging in though. I feel like I think I'm crushing it now.
I think you are.
Yeah. I don't know what the rest of the day's gonna look like for me, but right now I'm fine. Yeah.
So on your website, you talk about reducing Tulsa's eviction rate.
Yeah.
How do you plan to do this?
So there's a couple things. One is really balancing, putting in some additional potential like tenant protections, right? So like people know when they're getting evicted. A lot of people end up on the docket and don't know. So how are we notifying people and then making sure we can support them with things that they need, right? Because one of the reasons I'm passionate about this is we don't want to continue to exacerbate our homeless problem that we have right now, that crisis that we have right now, but also the impact that it has on kids. One of the first questions you asked me about how you enlist the kids, you've probably heard me say this before, but TPS alone, 900 kids are homeless, 1,200 kids are in families facing eviction. The chronic absentee rates for those kids, those families facing eviction, are sky high, and it tends to be younger kids, and so it means there's younger parents, typically speaking. And so that means that we have an issue with like younger people being able to afford to live here. And so part of it is making sure we're creating that opportunity for people more on a grand scale, but then making sure we have whatever supports in place that are out there to stabilize them in their home. And that's in work with landlords too. Like as part of that plan, are going to put together a council on evictions. So we're really thinking very deeply about how we do this and how do we activate. Because again, we have opportunities to spend money. And we have some resources. We got to make sure what are the best things to mitigate evictions. One other really critical part of that is what we've had in there now is about a $2.5 million fund that would allow for responsible landlords to dip into that fund just to help somebody who's in a pinch. They have a good tenant in a pinch. And so like $600, $1,200, maybe even $2,600 to get them out on the street, right? And we find ways to replenish it because, landlords have to be a partner in all this. Not everybody who evicts folks is a bad person. And then we have to get really strict about folks who are just massively evicting people, right? We've got to get on top of that. But I have some friends who are landlords. I know they work really hard to try to keep their rents low for people. And so we got to make sure, we're working alongside them. And the fact is, we still also have to get our housing stock up. There's just a lot of hard work. So there's this council on evictions where we're constantly thinking about the investments we have to make to stabilize people. It's the outreach. Those people are on the eviction docket to see, hey, where are you struggling and how can we help you? It's that $2.5 million to kind of start to say, like, hey, landlords work with us to make sure we're stabilizing as many people in place. And then it's, work on an affordable housing stock issue. And I think if we do those things right, that top line goal of ending homelessness is supported by it. My second goal of improving student outcomes is obviously supported by it. If we get those people who are struggling financially and get them into programs that help them advance in their career, my workforce issue and stabilizing economies is impacted by it. And I think, ultimately when people are living and thriving and less stressed, it makes us all safer. So it hits that fourth point I talked about around public safety. So for me, I think about like, hey, what are the things that are going to hit all three of those? Us reducing those eviction rates is critical. And I think we're number 11 in the country right now. The goal is to get us out of the top 25, out of the top 15, out of the top 25, out of the top 50, and out of the top 100 if we can in evictions.
All right. Sorry, I want to apologize for this last sauce. It's the bomb.
Apologize for it's the what?
The bomb.
Also, not something that usually is good.
No.
Yeah, bombs are typically not good.
No, I mean, I'm a history major, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Where was this thing produced? Is this?
I don't.
I almost got it there. It's on the side there.
Over here. Kansas City.
Kansas City. All right. This is going to decide if I ever go to Kansas City. Maybe had my last trip there.
I've had this one before, and
I mean, you're still alive.
I am. So there's
So I mean, like, how bad can it be? He's still here. All right, here we go. It's in the side. So you know some of the other ones? You don't ask me another question, right?
I was the same way.
So some of the other ones, like when you talk, the air kind of makes it worse. Like I don't want to breathe. Yep. You know how this one did this one to you. It's like the water doesn't exactly make it better,
No, I mean, it takes away the pain just
for a second while you're drinking it.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you about to say?
Okay, so you played football in college.
Well,
at TU.
It's easier than this.
So if running for office were an Olympic sport,
Mm-hmm.
what event would you compete in, and how would you go for the gold there?
Let's see. Running for office, it has to be more like a, my goodness. It's crazy. I would put it up on two events. I would think it's on one end, like the steeplechase, where you're running for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
For a long time, right?
Which I just watched for the first time, actually, ever.
It is. You got to take some time out to watch that. It takes a while. But it's a test of endurance in a lot of ways. And the difference in, I think, running for office in the steeplechase is, typically in the steeplechase, the best person wins. And we know that's always true in politics and elections. The best person always wins. And so, I guess so you take that, and then there's also maybe something like breakdancing, which I just found out was an Olympic sport this year. And where something is definitely, you got to have the talent and everything, but there's some subjectiveness associated with it. People are, it's not just hey, you were faster, so you won. but there's some judging associated with it. Somebody else ultimately is going to make the decision who won. There's not a tie. And so I think it's a lot like that, right? So on one end, you're on this long race, and it's a test of endurance and test of strength and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of it, the best, the fastest, the most prepared, whatever it is, in politics, doesn't always win. And so then I would take some other sport where it's a little more subjective, something like breakdance potentially.
All right.
Eating chicken wings is more like, probably more like, I don't know, boxing. I don't know, because I'm going to be taken out. I'm actually coming down from it now a little bit. I think I'm good. I mean, like, I'm sweating though. I feel like I just got to playing basketball.
I mean, that hot sauce is literally like it.
I'm going to tell you, if you're watching at home, and I don't know who makes this, I'm sure they're good people, do not buy this. Like, the bomb is not made for food that you're going to eat. Don't do it. Also, sorry, the bomb people, but they're in Kansas City. I don't think they'll be voting this election anyway.
Right, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
So for the people at home, minus the bomb people, how can people go find your website and find ways to volunteer?
You go to monroeformayor.com. You can sign up to volunteer. You can find out all about the campaign, about me as a candidate, about the plans for the future. And what I hope is that people feel like they want to be involved in that future, right? I think this is really the story of us and how we do all these things together. I think the challenges facing Tulsa are bigger than one person, one agency. It really is all of us deciding that we're gonna do this thing together. And I often say, what gives me a lot of confidence that we can. I look back on who Tulsa's always been. I mean, we were the oil capital of the world, so we powered the entire globe. We were the center of black wealth. We're all Indian reservation. This should be the center of Native arts and culture, and we're home to so many first-generation Americans that are contributing so much to our community. At Tulsa Public Schools, there are 70 languages that are spoken. 70 different languages spoken at Tulsa Public Schools. And so if you think about all these different iterations of Tulsa, have always been moments of greatness, unlike anywhere else. And like this, those are also measured with some tough, dark moments. But it's still in us to do things that weren't possible before we did them first. And so, I think this is about us saying, you know what, we're ready to lead again. We're ready to do the things that haven't been done. And that starts with taking care of people. And if we do that, we take off as a community. We got more potential anywhere in the country. And this election, I do think, is the most important in Tulsa's history for a lot of reasons. I think nothing other than not only can we make history in this election, I'd be the first person of color to serve as mayor. But I think that's an indication that Tulsa's like turning the page on doing things the old way. It's like, okay, this new chapter of who we are, taking all the great things we've done before, reconciling some of the trauma from before, but most importantly, marshaling all of that to be that great American city in the future. I'm really excited about it. MonroeForMayor.com.
MonroeForMayor.com. Vote Tuesday, August 27th.
August 27th, yep.
Coming up in what, 3 weeks?
It's really close, man.
It's close. Coming up close.
Right around the corner.
Yeah.
Right around the corner. And I will also say, for everybody watching, every election is critical.
Yes.
I think this year, at the national level, it's a fight for democracy itself, but it's also a fight for all the things that we've worked on. And I think this is important to say, and I don't just say it as a Democrat, but I am proud to be a Democrat in what President Biden's been able to deliver on, what President Obama delivered on before him, what President Clinton delivered on before him. We've often been called, at least in my lifetime, in moments like this, to make sure that we fix problems that were caused by somebody else, or that we double down on the solutions that have made us the strongest country coming out of the pandemic, that has us as the leader of the world. Having the largest economy is not just the only thing, but the fact is we are faring better than anywhere else in the world right now. And that's no small part to Democrats who have chosen in this moment to be responsible. who shows us moment to center people. And so I think that folks have to understand, once again, here come the Democrats to save democracy, but also to invest in communities. And I think that's true for what's going on in the race in the White House and Congress and in the mayor's office right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
I would say thank you to you. I'm still on fire. I'm not in a position to thank you yet.
It's okay.
I'm sure that'll change. Maybe next time I see you, I'll thank you.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you know what? Thank you. But not today. No, I'm just kidding. No, it has been fun. It's been a lot of fun to be here, and I appreciate you guys. I mean, Young Democrats. I mean, you guys are doing great things. You're on the doors for candidates. And that makes a big difference for us as candidates. Like, we don't win unless people show up to help. And so, we ultimately get to go to the legislature and vote and all that kind of stuff. But it is on the shoulders of you all who show up all the time to help us get there. So I can't thank you enough. Not just for today, because that was a little like, what? But for what you guys do every single day to support candidates, because it is more than supporting a candidate. It really is trying to, help Oklahoma be better than Oklahoma apparently wants to be most of the time. So I appreciate it.